Nice to see that you're still here. Didn't run away. Didn't get gobbled up by monkeys.
First question, last night I had a good meditation practice. I could follow the breath in and out, then the breath disappeared. I saw nimittas. However, when I went home, I was very alert and couldn't fall asleep. While lying down, I could see the lights. How can I overcome the problem of difficulty in falling asleep? Should I continue meditating? Thank you, Longpo.
Well, everybody's body and mind are slightly different. Each person's karma is different. A very common thing for lay meditators is when they start meditating a little bit more intensely than usual, more than before, the mind brightens up. It's less sleepy. So if you meditate and have what we call a good meditation, where your concentration improves, well, yes, you won't fall asleep very easily at first. That doesn't matter. You can carry on meditating a bit longer than usual, stay up later than usual. And then when you're starting to feel tired, you go to sleep. And your body should regulate itself. So maybe the next night you don't, you will feel more tired because the previous night you slept less, so the next night you might sleep more. So I really wouldn't worry too much about this phenomena of staying awake because you're meditating and your mind brightens. And partly because you're meditating and you're not falling into the mental hindrances so easily, and one of the hindrances is drowsiness, apathy, lethargy. So of course your mind is brighter from the meditation. Or even if you go to sleep, then you wake up later in the middle of the night and you feel like you can't get back to sleep, well, you can meditate again. You can sit meditation, or if your legs hurt, you can lie down and carry on meditating. Nothing is lost because it's an opportunity to improve your mindfulness practice, continue your mindfulness practice. And you may feel tired a bit later on because you slept a bit less, but sooner or later, if you're really tired, you'll sleep more. In the following night, you'll sleep more. So I wouldn't worry about it at all. I think it's a good sign.
Next question. Thank you for the lovely retreat, Longpo. I do not locate my breath to any part of my body. I just know and note the breath as a mental object. Is this okay? Any comments on this? Thank you, Longpo.
Well, maybe at first that sounds okay, but if we're honest, how do you know you're breathing? There has to be sensations. Air coming in at the nostrils or the mouth, movement in the lungs, movement of the abdomen. Rinpoche used to say, well, when you begin your meditation, your mind is a bit restless. You give it something to do, so you pick 3 points. End of the nostrils, area between the upper lip and the nostrils where the air goes in. Note that point. The chest, the center of the lungs, the abdomen. The out-breath, the abdomen, center of the lungs, out of the nose. So 3 points going in, 3 points going out. So you're following the breath at these 3 points, picking up any movement, any sensation. But you'll find over time, if you practice regularly, that's too much movement, too much activity, even just watching 3 points is too much for you. And as your mindfulness improves and you're keeping the breath in mind, you're not forgetting the breath, you're not so distracted by the wandering mind, you're not falling asleep, you'll find it's natural that the energy of your mind will gather in one place. Maybe tip of the nostrils, or the chest, or the abdomen. You find that one of these three places is comfortable for you to focus on as just one single point. So you can experiment, practice until you feel confident, I prefer to be at the tip of the nostrils or the chest or the abdomen. And then pick that one point, and you no longer need to follow up and down 3 points, just pick one point. So it's the point of contact. And you'll find gradually your mental energy gathers as if in a kind of a sphere or a ball at that point, because you're not looking, hearing, tasting, smelling, you're not paying attention to the other senses, and you're not letting your mind wander with thinking. So you start to gain more and more energy in this one point that you've chosen. When you're really becoming very mindful of the breath, it's possible to also become aware of how the air element, which is what the breath is flowing in, oxygenating the blood through the lungs, and it flows around your whole body. So when you get really still and peaceful, some people will have the experience of observing the breath around the whole body. Indeed, we breathe through the skin as well as the nose and the mouth. So when you become really still in samadhi, the movement of the lungs will reduce down to almost nothing or nothing at all. You can't detect any movement at the tip of the nostrils and the lungs. But by that time, you're just with the mind. Mind and breath are one. Because you've been focusing on the breath, and now you just are aware of the mind, and the breath, the movement of the breath has disappeared. And most people will start to worry, I can't feel my breath, am I going to die? Well, you're still breathing through your skin. That's why you should never cover your skin with some kind of chemical like paint or makeup or whatever people do, to the point where you've got no area of skin exposed to the air, but it's quite dangerous. You can't breathe, you can suffocate by sealing up your skin. But when you're still in samadhi, the lungs don't move, so you're just with the mind itself. But also sometimes you can follow the breath around the body because it's travelling with the blood, as it were. So people sometimes have particular visual images of the breath almost as like light, wisps of light, body. It's just being aware of the breath element, the air element within all the blood cells. Every cell in your body has air in it. So if you're just focusing on the air, it's possible to move your attention around the body, or it may happen quite naturally that you become aware of the blood and the air flowing around your body. That may never happen. I'm not saying it has to happen. Just giving an example. How when you're very still and you focus on one thing, the air element, these kind of experiences can come up. And of course other aspects of samadhi arise, piti, sukha, rapture. If you're doing breath meditation, you often get quite a lot of rapture. Rapture can be like waves, very peaceful, blissful energy that can often move around your body, waves coming up, waves going down. Hairs stand on end, tears come to your eyes. Sometimes the boundaries of your skin and your body seem to disappear and the body becomes weightless. It's like you're just floating. These are all aspects of piti, rapture, just a sign that your mind is peaceful. You're no longer maybe focusing on the in and out breath, you're just with the mind itself and you're observing rapture. Sukha is another factor of samadhi, is more still, has a stilling quality, stilling the mind, great sense of inner contentment Your mind doesn't need anything else. It's not agitated, it's not looking for anything else. You're very happy. That's why they call it sukha. Sukha vedana, pleasant feeling. Ekaggata, one-pointedness. So if you're just with the breath, that's all you know, from moment to moment to moment. So that may begin there, the nose, the chest, for example. This one-pointed awareness is just a constant awareness of the object over and over again, but you're very happy to do that, you're not bored. When rapture arises, it means you don't get bored. Normally, as an idea, just watching breath go out, sounds boring to the ordinary mind, to the ordinary person. But when you're meditating and you become peaceful like this, it's not boring, you can go on. And sometimes you'll find when samadhi arises, you can extend the length of time that you're sitting. You can sit for half an hour, maybe you can sit for an hour, or you can sit for 1 hour, maybe 2, or even 3. It can be like that because you're not bored and you're very light, very happy. And maybe the factors of samadhi maintain themselves, so you stop sitting, you get up, you go out and walk. You still have piti and sukha arising. You may still follow the breath as you're walking because your mind is very calm now, not too distracted, so you may still focus on the breath as you're walking. Normally that's difficult, isn't it? You can't focus on your breath as you're walking somewhere and you're thinking in your mind is in a more core state. But if you're in the middle of a retreat like this, or you're doing a lot of meditation, then you may maintain breath meditation as you walk. And again, piti and sukha can arise. You're walking and your whole body feels very light. And the pressure of the feet on the ground is almost imperceptible because the whole body is so light, so at ease. So samadhi is not limited to just sitting, it can also arise when we're walking as well.
Longpo, thank you for all the guidance and great teaching. I have much fear of losing my patience and compassion for those yogis talking in the meditation hall. I found it easier to accept noise from the monkeys. How can I deal with my fear and hatred arising during meditation? Thank you, Longpo.
Yeah, this is a very common mental defilement for meditators. Because we are not perfectly mindful yet, not at peace, not at ease yet, any little disturbance becomes magnified. And usually it's people, isn't it? We have the thought they should know better. They shouldn't talk, they should be more careful, more restrained. They shouldn't annoy me, they shouldn't make a noise moving around, they shouldn't cough, shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. With animals, you know there's nothing you can do about it, so you tend to let go easy. I did actually tell the monkeys yesterday, I said, look guys, a lot of people meditating here, can you calm down a bit? I'm not sure they listened. Animals, you don't expect much from them, so you don't get very irritated by them. They can be irritating, but generally you don't expect much. But people you expect a lot, very high standards. But of course when you're getting irritated with someone else for talking, you're not watching yourself, are you? At that moment your mind's gone, that person. There's a mental finger pointing, and then they're talking too much, who are they? Your radar should be focusing on the breath coming inward, but now your radar is going out. Find all these people who are annoying you. It's the suffering of the meditator, noise. It's not just noise, sometimes it's associated also with feelings in the body, because you're feeling tired, you have some pain. It's hard to maintain concentration, maintain mindfulness, so you look for somebody to blame. So So Ajahn Chah used to say, if there's sound impinging on you and you're starting to get irritated by it, ask yourself, is the sound bothering you or are you bothering the sound? It's just sound. It could be sound of monkeys, sound of people talking, sound of cars, sound of this, that. It's your own mind going out to the sound through a lack of awareness, lack of mindfulness. So you have to turn that energy around. So you could try, one thing you could try is when you hear people talking, you say, thank you. As you start to get irritated, you know, thank you, you're showing me I'm not very mindful, I'm getting irritated. Now I have to turn my attention back to myself, my own object, my own practice. So thank you for reminding me that I've lost my mindfulness. You want to go one step further, they're sitting in the hall having their conversation, you go, thank you. They'll get it. But all our defilements are like that. They're teaching us. Everything is teaching us. But some of these lessons are a bit painful because maybe you're very attached to your peaceful conditions. And as you become peaceful, you really want that and you really hold on to it. So as it starts to fade, because samadhi is still impermanent, it comes and goes according to conditions. When it starts to fade, you tend to blame something or somebody. Sometimes you blame yourself, oh, I'm so careless, I didn't maintain my mindfulness. Sometimes blame someone else for talking too much. But it's really coming because you're grasping or holding on to this peaceful feeling, peaceful experience, and now you're losing it. So then you get annoyed. And you might spend a whole retreat, you have one good meditation and you spend the rest of the retreat trying to get back there and you can't, so you get really annoyed. You have to look at your own mind and look at cause and result. I was mentioning earlier, when you're meditating you try to maintain mindfulness, which brings you an evenness of awareness with the pleasant and the unpleasant, the good states and the not so good states, the bliss of samadhi or the loss of samadhi. You maintain mindfulness in everything. When you're tired, when you're energetic, when you're happy, when you're sad, your aim is to maintain mindfulness. You say keeping your mind in the middle towards all experience. There's great silence in the hall, peaceful silence. Or there's a troop of monkeys on the roof, or there's someone talking. It doesn't matter. Your aim is to maintain the mindfulness throughout. Whatever's coming your way, pleasant, unpleasant, whatever.
Long form. I have some injuries in my neck and shoulder, resulting in nagging pain and discomfort at those areas, distracting my focus from breathing in and out. Shall I use pain as the meditation object or just ignore it? Please advise. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I think you could probably say both. You have to experiment. If the pain is very strong, intense, and your mindfulness is not very strong, don't try to be focusing your mind on the pain. It would probably be overwhelming. Just make you very depressed, unhappy at that time, miserable, and you may start to associate meditation with being miserable. Because every time you've got pain, you start putting attention on that pain. You just say, oh, meditation means pain, I don't want to meditate. So maybe at first just focus as much as you can on your meditation object, such as the breath. So basically ignore the pain if you can, as much as you can. Go to the breath, ignore the pain. That's a general instruction there. But sometimes you also need to manage your attitude because the pain will keep coming back, of course. It impinges on you. So one thing is also to reflect on your attitude. You observe how you may be forming aversion to the pain. So there's the pain itself, the feeling, and then there's the mind that goes, I don't like this, don't want this. You start to sort of inside, all your reactions to the pain. Watch that. Ask yourself, where's this coming from? Is this necessary? Do I have to also think a lot of negative thoughts about my pain? Because we all like to kind of create a drama in our life, every little problem. So if it's pain, my pain, I am the one with pain. And, if nobody's talking to you or you're walking around, I'm the one with pain, look at me. You know how much pain I've got. And then when they do talk to you, it all comes out, the pain. Seem to remember when I was a kid, there was some character who would walk around in a cartoon or something, the pain, the pain. We like to make a big deal out of it. That's just the mind adding on. There's the painful feeling, and then what you think about it, opinion, and all of that. That's something you may be able to address quite quickly. And, try to bring a more mature attitude. Say, okay, pain is unpleasant. Sure, it's always unpleasant. I'm going to just try and stick with my meditation practice, accept the pain, tolerate it, and not create any add-ons, any extras around this pain. That's what I began doing, because I had lots of pain when I began meditation. I could only sit for 3 minutes. I was so disappointed with my body. Who gave me this body? And I often mention that I had a close girlfriend who could sit full lotus. And she could sit full lotus as long as she wanted. She was so agile, she could even walk up a staircase in full lotus. Then come down again, and she could do tricks and all that. It's like, where's the justice in that? She's not interested in meditation, but she can sit in full lotus whenever she wants. I'm the one who's a meditator, I have faith in the Buddha, I'm going to do it, I'm going to get enlightened this lifetime, and I can sit for 3 minutes. And that's not even in full lotus, it's half lotus. It's like, I'm such a failure. So I spent my first year meditating, struggling with a body that was very painful, but I just kept working at it. And because I was young, when you're young, there's more chance for your body to adjust, get used to the posture, stretch the limbs, the ligaments, tendons, stretch. So after a year or two, I could sit longer, and gradually I improved over the years, which was lucky for me. But while I had all this pain, it was really impinging on me. My aim was always to go to the breath. But I noticed what helped me put up with the pain more was developing a good attitude. We say developing metta for the pain, for yourself, for the fact that you have to experience this pain. And it's a human body. Human bodies are painful. More or less, they'll give you pain sooner or later. So accept it with a good attitude. When you're a bit more mindful, you practice more and you're getting more stable, more peaceful, well then yes, you can then maybe go to the breath as go to the pain as an object and explore it. So instead of trying to stay with the breath, now you can maybe stay with the breath a bit, you feel more calm, more relaxed. Send your attention to wherever this pain is. Headaches, leg aches, knee, back pain. Send your attention there, explore the pain. That can mean sometimes just asking questions. Just sitting there, mindful, aware. You send your attention to wherever that pain is. You say, what is this pain? Whose is it? Who owns this pain? Is it a person? Is it a being? Where is it? Is it in the bone? The skin, the blood? How big is this pain? Is it the whole leg? One part of the leg? Is it a pinprick? Sort of spreading out? Is it always the same? There's one really weird meditation I had once in the early days when I had intense knee pain. And I was just focusing on it. I just gave up everything. I'm just going to focus on this pain until I can somehow understand it better and let go. of my attachment to the pain. And I was focusing on it intensely. It was really hard work, sweating and sitting, watching this pain. And suddenly it disappeared. I thought, oh man, because you hear about this, you hear about the person who has pain and then it disappears. Oh, breakthrough. And then the exact same pain came on the other leg. It's like swamped. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't understand it. How could it be like that? My other leg had never given me pain, never been a problem. And suddenly there was this intense pain over here, and over here where the original pain was gone. It's like, nature is messing with me or playing with me or something like that. So I watched it over there, and eventually that faded as well, and then this started again. But what I was working with more was my frustration. You get frustrated, tired, mentally agitated, negative thoughts, feel sorry for yourself, poor me, you've got all this pain, etc. You just have all your moods and reactions to this stuff. That's what you can maybe let go of quite quickly once you're watching your mind. The pain may go, it may not. Of course, if you really enter one point in the stillness of samadhi, the pain will go for a period of time, however long. So you get a relief, so it's like a rest from the pain, and it also gives you that real insight that pain is impermanent. If it's disappeared and you're still sitting there, it's definitely impermanent, it's definitely not self. And be warned, because you can enter a nice, peaceful state of samadhi, and then you come out and it's, all the pain is there, it's back again. But you still have a body and it's still there, except you come out of samadhi and maybe you're in so much pain you can't even get up. That's me anyway, that's me, my body is like that. So then you really have to be very careful. You can get up and fall over, everyone knows about your legs, go to sleep, your legs feel pain, but actually once you've got up, you'll notice nearly always disappears, doesn't it? As soon as you stand up, walk away, you forget your pain and you're thinking about something else. You go to the kitchen, it's food, you meet your friends, it's talking to your friends. 5 minutes before, this pain was like the worst thing in your life, it was at the end of the world, I can't stand it anymore, I hate meditation. 5 minutes later, you're talking to your friend, you've forgotten all about it. Keep the mindfulness going. Just watch that change. Watch how you move into distraction. Now you go for something enjoyable. It's understandable why you do that. Or if you go for food or talk to a friend or something else to distract you, something enjoyable. But don't completely lose your mindfulness. What? Oh, that painful feeling I had just then is gone. It's impermanent. I had to move because of the pain, okay. That's teaching you something about how we use posture to escape painful feelings, and how painful feelings themselves are impermanent. What's impermanent is not a self, a being, a person, it's just a phenomenon, it's an experience that comes up, how you feel at that time in your body, and then it goes. Usually we learn more about our body first, but then as your mindfulness and understanding improves, then you can maybe apply it to mental pain. The hurt of not getting what you want, the hurt of being misunderstood, criticized, the hurt of somebody blaming you, hurting you, bullying you, giving you a hard time. There are all the different things that give us mental pain. Same, you have to gently, when you're more mindful, so when you've got a little bit of mindfulness and calm there, then you start investigating. Why do I feel so bad about something that happened 10 years ago, for example? How much we carry memories, and then each time that memory comes up, it triggers the same painful feeling. It's not usually as bad as sort of strong physical pain, but it's still very strong emotional pain. And if it keeps coming up, you may become very depressed, very sad, perhaps. You can investigate that. The mental pain, sadness, anguish, depression. Investigate it and see how it's you clinging to a certain perception. This thing happened, it's bad, ruined my life, it's sad. But if it's in the past, like last week, last year, 10 years ago, you don't currently have to suffer over it if you're mindful enough. You know, okay, this thing happened, but it's over, it's finished. I don't have to keep suffering. If you can establish mindfulness each time the memory comes up, as you experience the mental pain, you just apply the mindfulness and some understanding. Gradually you'll suffer less with that painful memory or painful reaction that you might have. You learn of physical pain, mental pain, you're learning how to establish mindfulness, see it as impermanent, as not self, and let it go.
Can Long Po suggest to a layperson the way to success in the practice of meditation, and how good merits if he or she, and how good merits will affect the success of practicing meditation?
Yeah, good question. Sort of simple answer is just do it a lot. Why do we find meditation difficult? Because we haven't done it a lot. We've done a little bit. You do something a little bit, we only get a little bit of results, a little bit of peace, a little bit of insight. So do it more. That's probably the first thing you have to understand and accept. Problem in life nowadays is so full of activities, so busy. Everyone's so busy. You know, when you're young, you've got studies, and you've got to get a job, and you've got relationships, and you've got this, and you've got that, and then instead of going and developing meditation, we usually spend our time enjoying things, traveling, having fun. So we don't do much meditation. We don't prepare ourselves. A few people do, but most don't. Then as you get older or more responsibility, you start buying things, houses and cars, and you get debts, and then you have to take on a partner maybe, either get married or in a relationship. Then what happens? You start to have kids. If you want to get on a meditation, don't have kids. You can have kids, but you have to be very disciplined if you're going to develop meditation. You've got to wait till they've gone to bed, then you do your meditation. You've got to get up early, do your meditation. But I know so many mums and dads are sitting there at 6 a.m. doing their meditation, and they're just getting peaceful, and then Mom! running in, jump all over them. I've had it with my nephew. They're just sitting there getting nice and peaceful. They used to call me Uncle Kalyano. It was Kalyano, but they call me Kalimato. So like 6:30, door flies open, Uncle Kalimato! That's kids, isn't it? So be careful, be warned. What usually happens, you have this 20-year gap while you deal with your kids, and then you go back to say, oh, the kids have grown up, left home, now we'll go to the meditation. All your energy's gone, you're giving it to your kids and work and everything. Best of all is continuous practice, regular practice. Even if you've got kids, job, debts, all of this, just keep at least a little bit of time every day for meditation. Do it. Get into that habit. The hardest part of meditation is starting. You have to make that agreement with yourself, sign your mental contract. I'm going to meditate every day. I would say a really easy one is just first thing in the morning. If you say, well, I'm too busy in the morning, well, just get up a little bit earlier. Whatever time you can, you get up earlier, meditate before you go out. And then maybe, if you can, or in place of that, you could do in the evening, when you've finished all your business. Some really smart people can do it in their lunch break. Some smart people, they drive to work, beat the traffic, go to work early, get into work, and meditate before they start their day. You've got so many options here. You have to think about how you can do a bit of meditation. And of course, when you got a chunk of free time, or do retreats like this, 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, whatever you can find when you've got some free time, do some meditation, or even once a week on your off day, do a bit of meditation, more substantial meditation. Go to a temple or a retreat place. There's really not much excuse for this other than your own doubts, hesitation, distraction. Because I've met many people who do lead busy lives, but they still integrate meditation and Dhamma into it. That's the first thing, just find time to do it, make the time. Second one, you're asking about what merits will help. Well, yeah, making merit helps. Merit is a quality the Buddha said, always develop merit. So merit means dana, as we know, and everyone loves to offer dana, support the Sangha, charity, helping family, friends. Nowadays even dogs and cats and monkeys we help. Everyone does dana. Okay, good. Keep doing it because it brings a lot of joy and you practice letting go, give up your time, your money. But don't stop there. Sila, 5 precepts. As I said earlier, everyone who wants to take a photo with me, that's the cost. 5 precepts. Not $5, 5 precepts. If you take a photo with me, you've got to commit to the 5 precepts. So these for a day, it's not very long. Commit for a year would be really good. 5 precepts, and occasionally 8 precepts like you're doing now. Get into the habit. These things you benefit through habit, through regular practice. This is merit. And of course, listening to Dhamma, reading Dhamma books, listening to Dhamma regularly. You can incorporate that in your life. You get in the car, you can turn the Dhamma talk on. You don't have to listen to that music. You don't have to listen to the news or something more worldly. You come home, you don't have to watch your favourite soap opera. You can listen to a Dhamma talk. You have to make those choices. Get the Dhamma into your life in different ways. Associate with Dhamma practitioners. When the Devas asked the Buddha, what are the greatest blessings in life? Asevana cha balanam pandita cha sevana puja cha puja niyanam etam karoti. Avoid foolish people, meaning people who don't practice the Dhamma, don't value the Dhamma, pursuing maybe more immoral, unwholesome pursuits. Associate with the wiser, good people who do practice the Dhamma, who value the Dhamma, who get good inputs, good reflection from them, good example from them. Puja cha puja niyana, worship and venerate those worthy of veneration. Buddha Dhamma Sangha, practitioners, lay practitioners as well as Sangha, lay people who keep precepts, meditate, practice. Give them value, give them priority in your life. Who do we venerate? Nowadays everyone venerates celebrities, politicians, and nothing against anybody, any of these people, but in terms of Dhamma, possibly not the best examples. Venerate and hold up those people who are a good example, people who keep precepts and so on, because this will give you the right examples and guidelines to follow. So there's plenty you can do as lay people to improve your practice.
Long form. How do I overcome drowsiness? Question 1. Question 2. In walking meditation, where do I look as I walk? Thank you, Long form.
In a way, the answer is the same for both. If you're drowsy, open your eyes. If you're walking meditation, keep your eyes open. One lady once came to the monastery and never done walking meditation before, and she assumed that when you stand up, you keep your eyes closed. And so she went out and bumped into something. Keep your eyes open when you walk. Ajahn Kalyano said if you're really sleepy, what you can do walking meditations backwards. Walk backwards, very slowly, carefully. Keep your eyes open, but you're walking backwards because you're wondering where you're going to get to. Or maybe you have a wall or a tree or something, that's the mark of the end of your walking path. So you walk backwards to the end and then you turn around and you walk backwards again. It really wakes you up because you have to be careful how you're walking. The idea is to wake yourself up. So if you're sitting and you're sleepy, or maybe opening your eyes, focusing on the Buddha or a candle or a light, or I find often just sitting up straight, taking a few deep breaths often is enough. Just a little bit drowsy. Just put more effort into your posture. Open your eyes maybe, deep breathe and then start again. Sometimes chanting is very helpful. Chanting, reciting Dhamma. If it's all not working as you're sitting, or get up, do some walking meditation. As I said, you can walk out in the cool night air. You can walk backwards if you're still really sleepy. There's so many things you can do. We used to put a matchbox on our head. Because if you start falling asleep, you know the matchbox drops down. There's no real problem. You just catch it and then you put it back up again. And just that little bit of wakefulness, the matchbox is gone, you're just about to nod. So if you get really good at it, you don't let the matchbox fall, you're just starting to nod, but you quickly sit up straight so the matchbox never falls. I've seen monks doing this, it's almost like a kind of sport. Swaying, but they keep their head dead even. The matchbox stays on. They can be like that for a long time. Whatever works. I think it's more of an attitude thing. You've got to have the attitude, I want to be awake. You have that wish. Because sometimes people are a little bit sneaky. They use meditation as kind of downtime. It's just like, I'm just going to have a nice rest here. They're kind of snoozing in their meditation, and you can see they don't really care whether they're awake or not. They're just enjoying kind of a nice rest. I wouldn't recommend that as an attitude. I recommend when I meditate, I want to be awake, alert, mindful. That's your goal. So how are you going to achieve it? If you're sitting and you're really sleepy, you have to do something, don't you? Maybe you sit up straight, open your eyes, change the object. Occasionally, if you're exhausted, just accept defeat. Oh, I'm so exhausted, go and rest and then meditate later. Or do the walking meditation. But your aim is to wake yourself up, not to indulge in sleepiness, not to just use meditation as a kind of extra sleep time.
Paul. What do you say to help a family member who is going through critical illness that is suffering, full of fear and stress? Thank you, Long Paul.
Yeah, well, it's understandable if they're seriously ill, they probably will have a lot of fear and stress. If they're Buddhist, it's a bit easier because they may have some background that you can talk to them about the themes, the sort of things we talk about, the impermanence of feelings, the impermanence of the body, focusing on bringing up wholesome thoughts, bringing up meritorious thoughts in the mind, which you can do even when you're very ill, very weak. So if they have a background in Buddhism, this person, that's what you would encourage them to use, some of the teachings of the Buddha, the meditations, chanting even. With meditation, maybe encourage them to develop a sense of gratitude. It's a really good starting point for someone who's ill, because it uplifts the mind even when your body is in a very weak, painful state. Get them to just think through the good things that have happened to them in their life, because of course if they're ill, lying down perhaps very ill, well that's what they know. It can be a bit depressing, it can confronting. But then if they start thinking about some of the good things in their life, maybe that can uplift them. Again, if it's someone with a Buddhist background, chanting for them, or turning on recorded chanting for this person, that can be uplifting. Chanting for them, actually people in the room, or an individual chanting for the one who's sick. Listening to Dhamma is also a very skillful thing for them to do. If they have some faith, get them to listen to some Dhamma. And for any length of time, it's better than nothing. Because that may help them to reflect on their situation with more wisdom, more understanding. And many people I've seen who are very sick, once they've heard the Dhamma, but the first time maybe a bit not sure about it, but if they hear regularly, they start to find it very helpful. It gives them the right attitudes, helps them feel calm, helps them to focus more on their mind than their body, which is possibly in a very poor way, bad state. So listening to Dhamma, a very good thing, or could be recorded Dhamma, or sometimes we get people to read a book, Dhamma talk, to someone who's sick. Chanting and meditation. So if someone's very sick, lying down, not very weak, but they're still breathing, still alive, they're breathing. So maybe short periods of breathing meditation, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, get them to try that just to calm their mind. So they become familiar with the breath as an object. And then if they're feeling fearful, panicking, maybe they can turn to the breath each time just to help calm them down and give them something to turn to when they're feeling afraid, panicking. One of our problems when we're afraid, we don't know what to do with our mind. What should I do? What should I do? We panic and the mind is all over the place. So if you already have some training in mindfulness of breathing, that's the time you can really use it. You depend on it. You go to the breath when you're facing pain, or you're facing uncertainty about a condition, or just very scattered states of mind, you use the breath as an anchor. And many people I've met have successfully done that. Even when you're dying, sooner or later we all die, so sometimes people are dying. They can still go to the breath. And it gives them something to focus on. If it's not the breath, then you get them to think of the Buddha, who also can work. Recite Buddha, 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 or recollect the qualities of the Buddha. Sometimes recollecting dana that what is offered. And I know people who have died with the visual image of dana that they've offered and the happiness of remembering that occasion, and they are dying remembering that, and it can uplift them on. So there are actually a variety of things we can do even when someone's seriously ill, very weak, very disturbed, distraught. There's always something you can do. Best of all though is practice when you're still strong, healthy, so that if you ever face that situation, you're ready. If it's someone who's already in that situation, they don't know what to do, you do your best just to comfort them and try and get them to use their mind to think of things that are very wholesome and uplifting.
Long quote. While observing the in and out breath, boredom sets in, and my mind keeps running wild. Is it good to go back to body scanning from head to toe? Thank you, Long Quote.
Yeah, sometimes we can experiment in our meditation. So I mentioned body scanning as an alternative if breath is just not holding our attention. And that can develop into our meditation on the 32 parts of the body, which is something that many of my teachers, the forest monks, use. So it's not simply just going up and down briefly, but going 32 parts. You're starting with hair at the head. I know I don't have any hair on my head, but it's still there on the surface. Hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. This is the hard one, skin. Focusing your mind on the skin, and you say, try peeling off the skin mentally. See what's underneath. Open up to the flesh, the blood, the bones, and so on. But going through the 32 parts of the body, the organs, the bones, the liquids, the blood, the urine, everything. Read the chart. I don't know if it's here, but you can read it or read the sutta on the 32 parts of the body and use it as a practice. It gives the mind something to do. Visualizing each part one by one, putting your attention on hair of the head, hair of the body. So it's both a visual thing and a placement of the mind on that part. And also a recitation. It can be just reciting one word, such as Kesa, hair of the head, or hair of the head. It can be a word recited in English or in Pali. The visual image as well, placing your attention as well. So you have a number of objects you're maintaining as you focus on that one body part. You move through the 32 and get good at it. You go through the 32 and then do it again. Get to the point where you can visualize every part of the body. You can say the name, you can visualize it, you can place your attention around your body. If you get that good, you'll be very peaceful, and you might find you can do it for quite a long time. Again, we don't practice enough, so yes, the breath will seem boring sometimes. That's because of the power of other objects of mind take over, don't they? You're a little bit bored, breathing, meditation, so you start missing home, thinking about what they're doing at home, what's for food tomorrow, where will I go after the retreat, or maybe go to a version, who's making that noise. Your mind, when the object fades from your awareness, your mindfulness is weak, then you'll pick up something else. But the thing is, this something else is a hindrance, and then your mind runs with it. So you have to be willing to be patient, bring the mind back to the breath. That's where we often fall down. We're a little bit impatient, give up, boring. So stick with it, be patient, keep at it, but you can experiment and change the object sometimes. Another one, I just mentioned the 32 parts of the body. Another one is metta. It's a very useful one in the beginning of our meditation practice, cultivating the thoughts of loving kindness to oneself and then to all beings. I would recommend doing this as a regular meditation practice, so it can be part of a routine that you do, mainly breath meditation, but you give up some of your time for metta meditation, or you may make it your main focus of your meditation. Metta means both feeling and a thought. So the thought may be just one word, metta. May I be well, or may others be well. You can make that thought how you want, but there has to be a feeling as well. So you're also developing a warm, loving feeling. I usually suggest in your heart area. You may recite something like, may I be well, may all beings be well, whatever, and develop this feeling until it's really strong. Until you can fill your whole body and mind with this feeling. So you can think of other people, including monkeys, including people who talk in the meditation hall with metta. And actually what you'll find is if you're focusing on metta as an object, the person who annoys you will sooner or later come into your consciousness. Because if you're sending out metta in all directions, I wish all beings to be well, animals, devas, ghosts, humans, everyone, everywhere, sooner or later that person you're still angry with will pop up. Oh, I forgot them, and yeah, I'm still angry with them. It'll test you, and you'll have to work out how to bring your mind to have metta for that person. And you may have to work at it. Once won't be enough. Twice, 3 times, sometimes 100 times, who knows. Until you can have metta for all beings, honestly, in all directions, evenly, each person wish them well, even the one who's annoyed you, hurt you, gives you trouble. You know who it is, because you've got your own personal attachments. So when you find that person, that's where you have to work with your metta. Take it as a work in progress. If you do a meditation retreat like this and you do nothing else, get to the point where you can forgive that person you've been holding a grudge against. That's a major success. You'll have unblocked something. We love to go to the Chinese doctor, acupuncture, massage, oh, I'm going to unblock this line, that line, or I'm going to get all the energy lines working really well, and it's, oh yes, now everything feels good, but that's all physical. Now we're going to the mental blockages. So there'll be someone there. It can be deep in the past, it can be 30 years ago. It's not just tomorrow, not just yesterday or last week, it could be 30 years ago. Still lingering. Could be last life. Devadatta made an adhitthana to hate the Buddha for 10,000 lives. A lot of lives, a lot of hate. Every time he met Devadatta, he forgave him. Every time the Buddha met Devadatta, every lifetime, he forgave him, let it go, put up with it. Until finally Devadatta got the message. Treated me so well, I really mistook it. I thought you hated me, you didn't. You treated me so well, and asked for forgiveness. It only took 10,000 lifetimes. Don't leave it undone, 10,000 lifetimes. Sort it out this lifetime, this retreat. That person you're still holding a grudge against, finish it here now. Ching Meng is the time to do it. Sister, that when you come to the family gathering, it's like, oh, I've got to be with them again. Whoever it may be. Forgive them, let it go. Don't hold on to a grudge. That can be a whole meditation in one. Do it. Next question.
Long Paul, thank you very much for coming to Bodhi Hut to teach and guide us on meditation and the Dhamma. My question is there instant rebirth after one's passing? Thank you very much, Long Paul.
Well, the disclaimer is I haven't died yet. So I can't give you first-hand knowledge. But just think about it. If there isn't instant rebirth, what does that mean? Does that mean the whole universe just kind of freezes? Of course there's got to be instant rebirth. If there is such a thing as rebirth, it's got to be instant. But the whole point is, if one moment of consciousness subsides, ceases from this life, then you have what they call patisanti citta, rebirth linking consciousness, and consciousness arises in the next life. If that doesn't happen, either it means you die and finish, so that in Buddhism we say wrong view, or what? If there's no instant rebirth, what does it mean? Everything just stops, freezes? There's got to be something, hasn't there? Rebirth. But where? Well, that's the question. The whole point is we can't see. We're not the Buddha, we are not Anuruddha, we don't have the divine eye. Fortunately, a few well-trusted wise monks do have the divine eye, and they can say, yes, people die and they're reborn in different realms. You've got to be reborn somewhere, haven't you? What the thing is, part of our mind, which, because we've got what we call Sakkaya Ditthi, we're attached to being a person, our personality, we're all building that up all through our life. So we want to be able to continue when we die. So we think, so many times you hear people say, next life I'll do better. Next life I'm going to be rich. Next life this is going to happen. Who can guarantee where your next life will be? If you're reborn as a fly, doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. I'm going to be a rich fly, poor fly. More likely is you're going to be in one of those invisible realms, and that's where the problem is. You can't immediately prove that for yourself. The few people have had near-death experiences, or they died and come back to life, they can remember this and that. It does happen, of course, and maybe that's some extra evidence, some extra help in understanding. And then we have those who have developed deep states of jhana and recollect past lives and can see beings as they're dying, where they're reborn, can see ghosts, devas. So if you trust them, you may not, but if you do trust them, then you start to get an insight. So it's quite possible someone dies, the first thing is they're floating. We say as if floating, even that saying floating is wrong, gives the wrong impression that there's this sort of soul or consciousness thing that now is floating, going here, going there. Everything we use, every language we use to describe it is not really correct according to the insight of the Buddha and the Arahant, but for language purposes we say it. So this person dies, body stops working, stops breathing, body goes cold, consciousness is released. Maybe at first it's just there. You call that a ghost. Sometimes we call it Sambhawe scenes, wandering around, ghost. If someone has a lot of merit, maybe instantly in heaven. Maybe before they died even they're already in heaven. Meaning their mind was already the mind of a heavenly being before they died. So then the body drops away, but the mind is as if in heaven, so it is reborn instantly in heaven. That happened. Or maybe that person was very depressed and sad. That was their state of mind. The body drops away, so that's where they're reborn. In a state of sadness, depression, gloomy, unhappy, maybe angry. Or maybe they had a lot of attachment to some person or something. So they are reborn as a ghost close by to that thing or that person because of the power of attention. The thing is, once the body dies, consciousness, you don't know, you can't see. You have to just take it either on faith, trust from the word of the Buddha or a great teacher, or occasionally people have their own experiences. But it depends who you go to, and they interpret it differently. So the doctors may say, "Oh, you're just hallucinating." You see someone who's died there. Buddhists would say, "A ghost." Some people say hallucination. So it's a little bit difficult to prove. But if you just take the word of the Buddha, what the Buddha said, there are all these realms, lower realms, animal realm, ghost realm, demon realm, hell realm, higher realm, human realm, and then higher realms. All the heaven realms and then the Brahma realms. I would say they do exist. That's just me, and I can't convince you, make you believe that. I don't want to make you believe it. I would say they do exist. I have my own experiences. Many monks I know do have the same experiences and have very clear minds, and they do know these realms exist. I can't prove it to you. Tell you stories, I could tell you stories all the time. Stories of ghosts to scare you, stories of devas to inspire you. But I would say these realms do exist. When I first became a monk, I just had a don't know attitude. I really don't know, and it didn't matter, because I was just trying to practice my meditation, learn the precepts, do the practice, reflect on the Dhamma. But as your mind gets more peaceful in samadhi, then it's quite common that you start to have other kinds of knowledge arise. And it's just, you might call it a byproduct of the peaceful mind. And not only monks and nuns, but lay people sometimes have that as well. So sometimes you see things, ghosts, devas, and you realize that there's other beings around. And you know you're not hallucinating because you're fully awake, you're mindful, you know you're not crazy, you know you're not intoxicated. So then for the meditator with good mindfulness and some insight, they know this must be true. But it's still just an image or a knowledge of the presence of some being. And again, can't prove it to you, you can only share my belief and my experiences, and yes, I think these realms are true. But when someone dies, they've got to be somewhere, so straight away consciousness is somewhere, it's in the realm. Ghost, Dhamma, very unlikely to be a human straight away, that may come later. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's possible, but more likely to be reborn in another realm. So if someone's done a lot of good, so people who build monasteries, people who build monasteries offer money to build halls, offer land, offer monasteries, people who support Sangha through their life, not just for a few times, through their life regularly. Well, usually they die and they go to a good place straight away. Often it's very smooth, very quick. Other people, maybe they have a life of a mixture, they've lost their way, don't keep the precepts much, don't do much dharma, but they find their way, they're keeping the precepts, making better karma. So their life is a bit of a mixture, so then maybe it depends what's coming up at the end of their life. There's a lot of regrets, sadness over the mistakes they made, attachment to things. That's a big one. We attach. So we love someone. Be careful, because that will pull your mind as you die, won't it? What about the kids? What about my husband? What about my wife? What you want to do when someone's dying is give them permission to go on. Say, it's okay, go on, be reborn somewhere. Let go of me, don't worry about me, don't worry about the kids, don't worry about the house, the land, all these things that people attach to. You really want to let go, that's the whole point of it. Otherwise you don't want to become a ghost hanging around Bodhi or ghost hanging around your home. And believe me, there are people who become ghosts hanging around their home, hanging around the temple, hanging around shopping mall. Lumpur Plian, you ever heard of a teacher called Lumpur Plian? A great monk with great psychic powers, could read minds, could see devas, everything. And I was fortunate to meet him many times. He came to Australia many times, so I had a lot of conversations about this. And one time, Thai businessman invited him into the centre of Melbourne to bless a restaurant in one of the sort of streets that's full of bars and nightclubs and all that kind of area. And we went there and we did the blessing, and Lumpur just said, "Let's go, we've got to get out quickly." Too many ghosts. And it's not surprising, is it? If people die in those areas, no one makes merit for them. They're just floating around drunk, or whatever it is that was on their mind. And so they're just left there as ghosts, forgotten ghosts. So they're all crowding. As soon as they see a monk, they just crowd in. Give me some merit, give me some merit. That's how it is. Merit is like money, isn't it? When you have a lot of poor people, give me your money, give me your money. Merit is like that. So ghosts look for merit. So they'll come into your dreams. I'm sure some of you have had dreams of family members sometimes. Maybe they're coming to ask for merit. Or if they're in a better place, they're coming to encourage you to make merit because they're worried about you, that you haven't made enough. Very common. All kinds of people telling me, if the night before I came to the temple, I had Mum coming, go to the temple. Off her own. Oh, she scolded me when I was alive, and she's still scolding me now. When people die, their consciousness goes into another realm. Often they understand karma much quicker, much better. When we're alive, we're so confused, we're thinking so much. We're thinking about all kinds of rubbish, popular culture and society and gossip, food and all these kind of things. We fill our mind with that, so we forget all about good and bad karma and all that. As soon as you die, you're not thinking about all that stuff. All you're thinking about is karma. Where am I going to be born? Karma, how much good karma did I make? How much bad karma did I make? That becomes really clear. And also, you realize your loved ones are in the same boat. So one of the most common thoughts of someone who's died just after they died is, are my loved ones making merit? They're worried about us, because maybe they know we're not doing much. And that's very common, isn't it? Oh, I don't have time to make merit, but when I die, I'll make sure the kids are all there lining up, making merit for me. It's a bit of a risky gamble, isn't it? That's the gambler's mindset, hoping that the kids will do it for you. Better to make your own merit. Keep the precepts, do your dana, do your meditation. Then when you die, straight go to a good place. So I would say, instant rebirth somewhere, but it all depends on karma, isn't it? Good and bad. And according to the Buddha, unfortunately, there's a lot more people being born in the lower realms than in the higher realms. So that's something to think about. Why does everyone want to be a Sotapanna? It's because they cut off chances of being reborn in the lower realms. They don't make any more serious bad karma. They may still have a few mental defilements arising, but they quickly let go of them because they're practicing vipassana all the time. Greed, anger, and delusion can't get established in their mind. Before that, while we're still an unenlightened person, not sure, bit of greed, bit of anger, feel sorry, go to the temple, make an offering, go back, bit more greed, bit more anger. And then this sort of cycle, isn't it? So it's not sure. It's almost like a lottery, isn't it, where you're going to be reborn. Don't let it be like that. Make your mind firm in the Dhamma, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, Dana, Sila, Bhavana. Make it firm so there's no doubt. When you die, good place. Next question. Yeah. Somebody told me I'm not allowed to stop till the questions are answered.
Thank you, Long Po, for the extension. Dear Long Po, how do I curb my craving in my daily life? Sometimes I find joy in satisfying my cravings. Example, eating the food that I like or traveling. Is there anything wrong in satisfying the craving? Thank you.
It's not wrong, but the whole point of what we're doing is learning to see the drawbacks of attaching to the senses, to the pleasures and the pains. So we have to accept we're born into what we call a sensual realm, karma. Human beings, we have eyes, ears, tongue, nose, body, the sense, and we have a mind that collects all this data and keeps regurgitating it, bringing it up again. So we're sensual beings, so it's totally unsurprising that we like to go for sensual pleasure. And that's what makes the world go round, isn't it? We've become a consumer society. We're bombarded with advertisements and friends telling us, get this tastes good, this feels good, this looks good, this is the right thing. That's life, isn't it? From day one. It's not like little babies are immune for this. It's all like, I'll buy this for your baby, buy that for your baby, baby look good, baby look good. You start as a baby and on your deathbed, you're lying on your deathbed, buy him this massager, this will help him. Buy him this kind of blanket and this quilt. That's life, isn't it? It's a consumer society and we're just kind of pressured to seek out sensual pleasure, sensual experiences. Really, the pressure is internal, but coming from outside as well. So it's unsurprising that we fall into the trap all the time. That's Mara's trap. That's why we practice. We practice on all these levels. So practicing dana is a good starting point. Because you say, okay, I'm making money, I can have nice food and things I enjoy, but I'm going to share with others. Make sure that some of these other people around me are being looked after, because there's a lot of people suffering in the world. There's one reflection you could have is that there's plenty of food, accommodation, resources in the world for everyone. It's just it's not distributed equally. So some people have a lot, some people have a modest, but still too much. And a lot of people don't have enough. So we have to start doing more dana to help those in need, And even people who have enough, they still have their problems, they're sick, they're mentally ill, physically ill, people have accidents, people have disasters. There's plenty we can do to share. And when you share, what are you doing? You're saying, well, you're as important as me. I don't need my favorite food. I can, have my favorite food a little less often, and I'll share some money with you or somebody, or support Sangha or whoever, whatever dana you do. You're already reducing the amount of craving because you're giving importance to others. So good dana is when it's somebody not related to you, and then you'll get nothing from it. I do this and I'll get nothing back from this, I'll just help this stranger. That's really good dana to do if you can. There's even dana sometimes says, I'll do this, I'll give it to them, hopefully they'll help me later. That's vara again, coming into our thinking, always one step ahead. Try and do dana, just give, just share. Sila is the same, because sila involves modesty, moderation, not eating too much, not taking too much in terms of wealth to the point where you're hurting others or exploiting others. So sila is also helping to deal with craving. And then bhavana. So when you're mindful, craving arises and you say craving, let it go. When we're not mindful, craving arises and we say follow it. It's really as simple as that, isn't it? The Buddha didn't say don't eat, he just said learn to eat without craving. And that's difficult, I know, but that's what we're aiming to do. So that's why we have the reflections. Pause before you eat, or before you even take your food down there in the line. Pause, why am I eating? What's the purpose? Get some nutrition, energy for a day and a night so I can practice this retreat. What is the right amount? Well, you know your body, what you need, so you have a rough idea, and you go along. There's other factors as well. You have to think, who cooked this food, who provided it? Think of them, maybe with gratitude. How many people in the line? Am I at the head of the line? Like there's 80 people. If you're number 5, say, are you thinking of the other 75 people behind you? Or you're just going, oh, my favorite? That's craving, isn't it? It takes over. So you try to maintain your composure, your mindfulness. I like this, I'll just take a modest amount and I'll leave some for others. Dana again. You don't give in to your craving. You will still like the food, but you're modest in taking it. You're reflecting on why you're eating, the purpose of it. As you're eating, you try to maintain mindfulness. You don't gorge it down like you do when it's your favorite food, eat, without any kind of self-control. You try doing it in a self-controlled way. You're mindful of the tasting. You're learning how not just to give in to the desire for that taste. You appreciate the taste, but you don't give in to the desire for it. So you eat mindfully, that's your aim. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but practice every day and you'll get better. We already can do it already. If you are a parent, if you've got kids, you'll always be giving stuff to your kids, and, sacrificing your own pleasure for them. But, still, sooner or later there'll be some time when you say, well, no one's around, nobody can see me. You have your little moment of indulgence. That's where you want to try and improve your mindfulness. Be more even through your day, whether people are there or they're not, whether they see you or they don't. Try and think what's appropriate, what's modest, what's the right amount. All these reflections, you bring them into battle craving. That's just with material things, like food, clothes, various experiences which stimulate craving. You try to bring up the sense of restraint, composure, and 5 precepts helps, 8 precepts help, because you're already reducing your consumption of pleasant experiences when you're on 8 precepts. So plenty of scope in life to battle craving with dana, sila, bhavana. And you just do the best you can, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And the idea is to gradually be winning over time. Ajahn Chah used to say with dana, the best dana is the dana that hurts. Meaning, there's something you really like, or really are attached to, or has meaning for you, and you share it, you give it away. You know, if you've got a lot of food and you give away some of that food, it doesn't hurt, does it? You can do it because you've got a lot. Say one day you've got a small amount of your favourite food, and you give it away. That will hurt. Or you've got something that you don't really want to give away, but you do. So what was the last thing the Buddha learned to give away before he became a Buddha? When he perfected Dana Bharami, when Santaray had to give away his wife and children. The hardest thing of all, isn't it? Give away your family. Happy ending, he got them back. But he didn't know he'd get them back. Nobody could really give away their family very easily. You don't have to go that far, but dana, regular dana, just cutting away at that desire to accumulate more wealth, more pleasant experiences. Find happiness in sharing with others. Let other people have this happy experience. You want to go on holiday, I really want to go on holiday, well, pay for someone else to go on holiday. Give it away. You want to buy something, you want to buy a new phone, buy a new phone to someone else and just stick with the old model. Why not? See where you can do something that gets you. It's a bit. So if you're a monk, if you stay a monk your whole life, obviously some people are temporary monks, if you stay a monk your whole life, that's the kind of dana you make. Ajahn Chah said it's like giving away your bride. You're a beautiful bride, and you give her away because you're a monk, you're celibate for your whole life. You've given away a bride, or he said it's like building a beautiful house, and you give it away. Monk, we build monasteries for other people. I have a monastery, actually I have 2 monasteries now, for other people. I mean, I benefit as well. I'm not saying I don't benefit, but one day I'll die and someone else will be living there. It's not my personal possession. That's the Dharma, Bharami. Build a hall. Whoever pays for this hall is giving away something for everyone. So Dharma Bharami is a really good antidote to craving. It's not the only antidote, but it's a really good start. Practice Dharma. Go in there where it hurts. Today I had a Chinese massage, so I missed one of the meditation sessions. Goes into the joints, really hurts. He said, yeah, hurting is good for you. Talking away. Dana Bharami can be like that, give something that really means something to you, give it away. It'll hurt a bit, but it'll be good for you in the long run. Next question.
Dear Long Form, in the first jhana state, is a person aware of what is happening around him? What is the physical features of the piti when you're in that state? Can Long Form give some examples? Sadhu and thanks.
Generally speaking, your mind has got inwards. You're not aware of the body anymore. The body is going to disappear. You're not aware of sight, sound, taste, or touch. So whatever's going around in the hall, you're not aware because you're focused inwardly. It's not impossible to come out of that state. Of course, you can come out of that state and start to become aware, but there's a definite unawareness of what's going on around for the duration. And piti and sukha, piti is something that kind of varies. Sometimes you have a small amount of piti, sometimes more. It can vary. There's a certain movement to rapture. Sukha is more solid, sustained, sukha vedana, and it brings a lot of stillness, steadiness to the mind and the body. It allows you to sit and cope. If there is pain prior to entering jhana, it might well be pain, but it's not bothering you because your mind is just focused on its object. Happy, content, not bored, not worried and distracted, just inward, happy within itself. So that gives you the insight, the mind can be totally happy without all the rest of the things of the world. People, pleasures, food, sex, whatever it is that attracts you, you know there's a happiness that is not dependent on any of those things. So it's an important insight. It's not nirvana, but Ajahn Kalyano, it's like a taste of nirvana. And piti and sukha is sustaining, it's like mental food. You can attain jhana and you don't feel like eating. So you might not eat that day. If you have a lot of piti and sukha, you might not want to eat. I don't have any appetite. Even though you probably need food, eventually you would have to eat. But people who attain jhana, often they don't want to eat very much for periods of time. So, mind has gone inwards, has a very refreshing effect on the mind and the body. You say your elements and your khandhas are getting a kind of refreshing bath, has a purifying effect. So the mind becomes brighter, sometimes the body becomes very bright, soft, reflects the jhana as well. So people who have attained jhana, deep jhana, and are skilled in it. I used to look after Ajahn Chah, and you just look at him and you know, a lot of samadhi here, even though he's very ill, very weak in his last few years. His skin was not like an ordinary person's old man skin, more like a baby skin, very pink. With jhana, you get all the piti and then you get all the pranic energy of the air flowing around your blood. So his skin was really pink and soft. I used to massage him several times a day. It's like, wow. Right, sometimes he seemed to have more energy than others, so sometimes he was more long today. Really good. You look at his eyes, and the eyes are just otherworldly, glassy, kind of got this amazing look, different from an ordinary person's eyes. So there's sort of these little signs. Perhaps if you practice meditation, you will pick up on them, you'll know what they mean. If you don't meditate, you might notice, you might not, depends. But somebody who attains jhana, often they look different, and of course they feel different. To be with them, there's a very pleasant feeling emanating from them that you pick up. And the more sensitive you are, if you meditate, the more you know, this person's really good samadhi. You feel it. It's tangible. How do you describe that? I don't know. It's just a kind of tingling feeling, sensation that you're picking up with your mind. I don't know, what would you call it? It's like someone sprinkles stardust in the air. Twinkling stardust. And you're sitting there and you can sense the twinkling stardust. I don't know, I'm just joking here. But you feel something. Actually, if somebody, even if they've never meditated, they'll feel it too. If the person with jhana intends the person to feel it, they may feel it. So that someone with jhana spreads metta to somebody, they may feel it. So it could be even an animal. Animals feel the peace of jhana. They can calm down, they can be attracted to the mind of someone with jhana. Once we went to, if you ever go to Melbourne, Australia, you may have heard they have this island, Phillip Island, where they have these miniature penguins. The smallest penguins in the world. Malaysians, Chinese, and everyone, they flock there in their large numbers and they sit there waiting in the evening, and penguins come in from the sea and they walk up the beach in large numbers and everyone's very excited and takes photos. They're just little birds, but it's kind of sweet. I guess you could say cute and cuddly. And we're all sitting there in rows. I took Lumpolium, of Ajahn Chah's monastery, and a group of monks. And we're just sitting there. When the penguins come, everyone gets up and they're sort of cheering, and clapping, and taking photos. And the monks were boring. We're sitting there, so everyone is blocking the view. And the penguins are walking past, and someone says, the monks aren't going to see the penguins because they're walking away, and everyone's blocking the view, everyone's following the penguins. We're just sitting there. Of course, one penguin just comes up and walks up and sits right between Luang Por Liam's feet. And everyone goes, how do you do that? Animals are like that. Animals sense the peaceful mind. They're attracted to it. People are attracted to it. You're with someone who has metta, has jhana, or you feel it. It's an attractive quality. I often quote my brother's honeymoon. He came to Thailand, and I had nothing to give him as a wedding present because I was a monk, penniless monk. So I thought, I'll give him the best. I'll give him arahants. So I took him around as many arahants as I could. Hopefully he appreciated it, I don't know. But anyway, there's one amazing monk who is considered to have one of the most powerful minds in the Thai forest Sangha at that time. His name was Luang Por Songcha. He lived on the coast about 100 kilometers further down from Luang Por Lam. He's passed away now, but he has an amazing personal history and he had a very powerful mind. Everyone agreed, oh, really good samadhi, good jhana. And we went to see him. I said, Luang Por, can you give my brother and sister-in-law a blessing? They just got married. So he did. He chanted a really beautiful blessing. And they were just sitting there. We were all sitting there listening to this chanted blessing for a long time. And it's just waves of pity and rapture coming our way. It's like, waves of water almost. It's not water, there's light, just waves of water coming your way. And even my brother and his wife could feel it, and they don't meditate. They're not really Buddhists, but they felt that. So anyone can feel it. And of course, you yourself feel it if you attain jhana, and people around you may sense it as well. Next question.
Okay, some more. Dear Luang Por, I'm in the sales line and desire is my key driver. How should I do well in my job and yet reduce my desires? Thank you.
Do it for others. Be the best salesman in Penang, and then give it all away. Not necessarily to a temple, but you can give to your family. Give it all away. Support your family. Give your kids the best education. Give your parents the best health care that you can. Support the sick, the needy, whatever good causes you want to. So it's okay sometimes to be successful at a job if you've got the right intention in mind. It's not you're just doing it because you want to win and get the better of everyone with the best salesman, businessman in the world. You're doing it with a higher purpose to support Dhamma in one form or another. So you may want to do Dhamma. So you be very successful and then you start sharing. If you keep sharing, you'll reach a point where you think enough and you'll ordain. You'll become a monk or a nun. And I know a few people who've done that. They've been very hardworking, successful business people, made money, built monasteries, helped charities, helped their family, done all these things. And then they say, enough. And they know how to give away, so they just give the last bit away and they go and ordain. Some even gain jhana because of it. If you want to gain jhana, do a lot of dhamma. So when you meditate, you're not worried about anything. What stops you attaining jhana? Oh, I really want to eat that nice food. Oh, I really want to go traveling to that place, that country. Oh, I really want to buy the new phone. Oh. That's all the desires coming up stop you entering jhana, don't they? So if you practice dharma beforehand, when you meditate, it's simple, easy. Who gets psychic powers from the jhana? People who offer a lot of dharma. I know a few ladies who have done a lot of dharma varami, and when their samadhi comes, not only do they get good samadhi for insight, they also get all these psychic powers. I know one lady, she meditated every day, she offered dana all through her life, supporting the Sangha in a monastery. She had nothing for herself other than the clothes she wore, and she meditated every day, and her jhana came up, and she had really good insight, could see her 32 parts of the body really clearly, could see the bones, see everything. And she also knew who was coming to the monastery tomorrow every time. When I went to that monastery, she had already told the abbot who was coming. She didn't know me, she didn't know I was coming, but she already told him. So he was on high alert. Oh, Western monk coming to visit today. Because the lady in the kitchen told him. So dana leads to jhana. Don't knock it. Next question.
Dear Longpo, during meditation I have a tendency of slipping into bhavanga, a peaceful state but lacking clear mindfulness. Please advise how I can improve and skip this bhavanga state. Thank you, Longpo.
Yeah, you need to work on it. Basically, you want to stop yourself going into bhavangas. You've got to catch yourself way before you're just about to fall in. You've got to see the telltale signs coming up as you lose your mindfulness. What happens? Your mind drifts away. You're no longer aware of the breath. You're no longer clearly aware of anything. You start to go into the dream state, and then you drop into bhavanga. To be honest, one way of saying it is you keep falling into bhavanga because you like it. You have to start developing a bit more aversion to bhavanga. I don't want bhavanga. I don't want to go into that state. So you start having a bit more dread and care. You're more careful. Just like you're walking through the forest and you know there's an old well there. It's really deep, and if you fell in, it would be dangerous. So whenever you go near that area, you're always careful. Where's the well? Where is it? Where is it? You're careful because you don't want to fall in. You have to have that same kind of care and attention to your mind as you're meditating, and not want to be in bhavanga, not want to just sit there falling asleep. Work at it, work hard at it, and notice as your mind slips off how quickly it is between slipping off your object and going into bhavanga. Maybe very quick, so you've got to work harder. If sitting is too difficult, do walking, more walking, until your mind is stronger, then maybe come back and do sitting. You've really got to work at it, see it as a task that you set yourself in your meditation, an obstacle you really have to overcome. You can't kind of treat it in a casual way, otherwise it becomes habitual and you never get out of it. So really work at it. Sit with your eyes open if you have to. Just learn to sit with your eyes open. You can still follow the breathing, but don't close your eyes. As soon as your eyes close, you know the next thing will be bhavanga, so don't let your eyes close. Chant, if you need to. Recite either one word like Buddha, 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 Buddha. Itipiso, Bhagava, Arahant, Samma, Sambuddho, Charana, Sampano. Chant something to keep your attention so you don't drop into the wrong. Another variation, another aspect, maybe perhaps you're not sleeping enough, I don't know. Because if you don't get enough sleep, of course, it's easy to fall into bhavanga as well. Maybe look at how much you're sleeping, just make sure you sleep enough. Another one is don't meditate after a big meal. Because all your energy is digesting your food, it will be hard to not fall asleep. So work at it. Next question.
Longpo, during Buddha's time, the Buddha instructed Venerable Ananda to recite Ratana Sutta to the people of Vaisali for the protection against the spread of diseases and from evil spirits. How important is the chanting of suttas? Does it produce any energy/vibes for protection and other purposes? Please enlighten us. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
I would say yes. It's a very good skill to learn. Training mindfulness as you chant and learn the chant. Best is learn off by heart. But even if you're reading, put your heart into it with mindfulness. And it's very wholesome, isn't it? You're chanting the words of the Buddha, they have good meaning, so also maybe learn what they mean, read the translation. They're a very good antidote to sleepiness, worry, fear, There's something you can do when you are in a state of shock, worry, fear. Sometimes the breath is too difficult to find the breath, be with the breath. Chanting can help. Suttas and parittas can really help. They have good meaning. They often bring out a lot of faith. They can help your faith to become stronger. It can lead to samadhi. And other people like it, so that we say the devas like to hear them. They have a certain good energy to them, so maybe that has a certain protective quality. And again, I can tell you lots of stories about monks who depended on chanting in situations where they've encountered spirits, ghosts, wild animals, snakes, tigers, elephants, angry people. So, have a few suttas or parittas ready up your sleeves for that day when you're in Penang, downtown Penang, and there's that really bad driver waving his fist at you. So, but it's work for people. I've seen myself, I've used chanting in these sort of situations, and others have. The monks who've been physically threatened, and they chant, and somehow nothing happened. People threatened or in the presence of wild animals threatening them, nothing happened. Ghosts being around, nothing happened. All kinds of tense situations, not just people very afraid, maybe they're facing surgery, facing some kind of difficult situation, and they chant. It helps to steady their mind. So I would at least give it a go. Maybe some people really don't agree with chanting, so it's not wrong if you don't chant, but I would try it first before you dismiss it. And to try it, learn one or two off by heart, and then try it, repeating them, chanting them at different times, and you may find it very helpful. It is getting quite late. Are there a lot of questions?
Bodhi did quite a number, 15.
Okay.
I think this can hold over for tomorrow morning.
There's two more.
Tomorrow morning.
We'll make time in tomorrow's program to try and answer them all. I'll have to speed up my answers, I think.